The last thing that I'm going to talk about here, because I'm a meditator and because I feel really strongly about meditation as a transformative power in our lives, I'll put it that way for now, that a lot of times when we're taught meditation, if we're not aware, or maybe the instructor isn't aware, we can actually really recreate or recapitulate that freeze response. So a lot of people associate meditation with being super still. And even some forms of meditation are taught that way, where you do get very still, and it's a very held still position. That isn't necessarily the original instruction, but it can come down the line that way sometimes. And even if it doesn't, even if the instructor is like, you can move, it's okay, sometimes we still kind of go into this this mode, which is like, oh, this is the way I'm supposed to do it. And the good boy or the good girl, the good kid kind of paradigm often shows up as a freeze in the body. And so it's really important that we feel like when we're in seated meditation that it is okay to move, and just bringing in, even just bringing in a little bit of movement in the spine, checking in and taking a little bit of a deeper breath. I always kind of, sometimes my head kind of tilts up a little bit, or sometimes down like this. And I just kind of am making sure that this area is open so that I'm breathing freely and that my head isn't kind of in a freeze in some way. But we can just bring in tiny little movements that help us to really stay embodied in meditation and really stay in the optimal physiological place for deepening meditation and transformative meditation. So, you know, having our full breath available to us, and again, not feeling like I'm holding this position. What ends up happening naturally as our meditation progresses, as it deepens, is we come to what I like to call an arrived at stillness. So if we're gentle with ourselves and we're tracking, if we are somebody with, like me, have this natural freeze response that happens a lot, you know, if we give ourselves that period of time in the beginning of a sit to, you know, move just a little bit, to do what we need to do for our bodies, to not go into that freeze, what ends up happening is that the body and mind start calming together. And then there's a real stillness that arrives, and I'm not imposing it, and it's not a frozen stillness, it's a soft stillness, and it's alert, but it's not a high activate in terms of the nervous system. It's not a high activation state, and it doesn't kind of perpetuate a certain not only physiological state, but even sense of myself, which is a narrow sense of myself. And in meditation, what I'm going for is expanding that sense of self, which really helps me to do when I soften my body and allow a little movement at the beginning. But then again, just to restate that an arrived at stillness has a very different feel in the body and the mind than an imposed stillness. So I hope that's helpful for your anxiety, for your freeze responses, your tension, your stress, but also perhaps if you're a meditator, just a little bit of nuanced support around how working with the body in this way in the beginning stages of meditation can really, I almost don't want to say advance your meditation, but really help to open it in an organic way. So may you be well, may you be happy, and I hope this was helpful.